Okay, no, but can we talk about back in 2014 where some wattpad main characters would do the most when it comes to dressing up? Like, she would do her hair, spend hours doing her makeup, and wear a luxurious mint green dress. I'm not even gonna get into the shoes or the jewelry. Spend all of that time getting ready, and where are they going? A casual dance for a fundraising event. As she stepped in, everyone fell silent and stared at her. Yeah, because you're wearing a whole wedding gown to a freaking high school gymnasium. I bet the other students were like,
girl,
and then he was like,
you.
Here she go with this shit again.
She always does
literally
this.
Every year.
Like, what's that? Are you reading a Prince or something?
Look, see? No, but how come some main characters always stick to that toxic love interest? Like, that love interest would either A, not notice her, B, be completely toxic to her, like from the jump, and C, constantly give other women their attention. And sometimes even right in front of the main character. But then you enter the second love interest, and then they show the main character everything that they deserve. Time, attention, love, intimacy, all that good stuff, right? Literally makes the main character a priority. But then the first love interest comes back, and all of a sudden there's a big reveal that they've always loved them and how they've always admired them from a distance. And he's got the nerve to get mad at the second love interest for talking to the main character. But the worst part? She goes back to the first love interest because that's my first love and it's always been him. Stories like that literally make me sick. Because I would rather have a I knew it was you from the moment I met you, instead of a it took me a while but deep down I knew it was supposed to be you. Staying with that first guy does not make you a ride or die, it makes you a dumbass. Bye. Who on earth came up with that thing where the main character gets in between two boys fighting? And she goes, stop, look at me, don't do this. This isn't you, I know who you are. And then when people try to stop her from doing that, she goes, no, I can calm him down, I got this. And then when he does calm down, he's like, oh my god, what am I doing? I'm so sorry. In what world does that happen? Because that wouldn't happen at the high school I went to. She would either get shoved out of the way or just straight up knocked out. And the other students would never let it go. They would see her in the hallway and be like, hey look, it's the girl who thought she was in a movie. The one who got knocked out. The one who got knocked out. I've said this on previous videos, but I want to elaborate. Fictional men on Wattpad have so much unpacked trauma that it is not even funny. And right when him and the main character get into an argument about his toxic behaviors, he suddenly gets a whole chapter where he just dumps all of his trauma on her. It's almost always the bad boy and the mafia boyfriend. They be like, I watched my father hurt my mom and I learned how to kill at a very young age. I've been getting into fights ever since I was 4 years old and I told myself I would hurt anyone who got in my way. Like, sir, that's tragic and all, but you kidnapped the main character and you've been toxic to her from day one. Apologize. And the main character eats it up every time. I understand, I can fix you. Go off, fix it, Felix. But seriously, these guys would be like, it's not my fault that I'm like this. My world has always been dark. Then turn on the light and go to therapy. Bye. In 2015, you could never actually win with bad boy stories. Because YN would either literally be the bullied, shy, and stuttering mess who blinks her blue orbs every 3 seconds, or YN hates the bad boy because she's determined to prove that she's not like other girls, just to fall in love with him by chapter 3. Then he's unleashing the member and the next thing you know, it's, after the night we spent together, I woke up the next morning feeling sick. Like, first of all, okay, Bella Swan. Second of all, bye. No, because the 2013 to 2015 Wattpad werewolf stories were an absolute crime against humanity. It always starts with YN getting bullied because for some reason her entire pack hates her. Because she's weak. But she has white fur and purple eyes, but everyone thinks that makes her weak. Then when she runs away from her pack, she somehow stumbles across the most powerful wolf in the world, who's the alpha of another pack. And for some reason he always has red eyes. And to top it all off, that's her mate. He doesn't even address her by her name, just growls and says, mine. Like, sir? And that's just chapter 1. Then she finds out she has white fur and purple eyes because she's the descendant of a moon goddess or some shit. Then all of a sudden her old pack wants her back, even though she was rejected. And then her mate is growling every 3 seconds. Like, I know you're a werewolf, but I didn't know that this character was inspired by Tony the Tiger. These stories were all the same. Bye. If it wasn't the crappy werewolf fanfics, it was this. This right here. Why everyone was obsessed with the idea of getting sold to a mob boss back in 2014, I will never know. But seriously, these are everywhere. It always starts with YN coming home from school. And the moment she pulls her silky platinum blonde hair away from her blue orbs and into a messy bun, her mom is at her door. The mom always has a cigarette or a wine glass. And then she's straight up with it. I sold you. And she doesn't ask a single question about why she's getting sold. She just goes along with it. Who is she getting sold to, you ask? A mob boss. And when she goes downstairs to meet him, he's standing there and he's fixing his suit and he gives her an easy smile. And surprise, surprise, it's Harry Styles. And no one ever questions why he's buying 16-year-olds, but it doesn't matter. And then it's like, I'm gonna take great care of you. Okay. Huh? And that was just the prologue. Bye. No, because look, here's the thing about the mafia stories back in like 2014, all the way through 2017 probably. No matter how they start or no matter how they end, there's one thing in common. The mafia boyfriend is always toxic. Healthy relationships? Oh no, that doesn't exist on Wattpad. We only know kidnapping and forced marriages. I read a lot of mafia stories back then, but I promise you, 80% of them always started with the main character getting kidnapped. And then he like locks her in a room of some sort. And he's always like, I've watched you from afar and I've wanted you forever. So you kidnap her instead of wanting to get her number or something? But that doesn't matter because he's a mafia boss and he owns the entire city. Oh, and that's just the prologue. Let's not get to the rest of the story. The mafia boss is always toxic and he blames his behaviors on his dad for some reason. Like, sir, therapy exists for a reason. Oh, and don't let her try to run away. Especially with another guy. Because next you know, she's kidnapped again and he's reported as missing. And he's like, you're mine, baby girl, you always will be. And she's like, okay. Then she's either kidnapped by the rival mafia, or they get married and have twins. Bye. Listen, I only read 3 vampire stories when I was 15 and I never picked another one up. So this drop won't be as accurate as my other videos, but here we go. In the stories I read, the main character is always new at school, and the vampire instantly talks to her, flirts with her, and stalks her. And everyone tells her, hey, you should stay away from that guy, but they never say why. They don't tell her that, oh yeah, he's a vampire, so you should stay away from him. They don't say that! Out of the 3 vampire books I read, all of them had a scene where he goes to her window in the middle of the night. Like he's just sitting there perched on the windowsill as she's trying to study. Like, pack it up at work, Cullen. Literally all the werewolf and the vampire stories are watered down versions of Twilight. But where the werewolf stories were over the top, the vampire stories were dramatic. So after the vampire gets the main character to fall in love with him, all of a sudden he's like, no, I'm too dangerous, I don't want to hurt you. And she's like, I don't care what you are, I love you. And don't let there be a scene where he's close to dying, and she has to give up her blood in order to save him. Most dramatic thing I ever read in my life. It was either that, or humans were chained up slaves for the vampires to feed on. And I would be like, oh nah baby, get the fuck. Oh my god. This trope never made sense to me. I only read like one of these and I swore I'd never read one again. Because first of all, why on earth would you bring a book to a concert? So while there's hundreds of thousands of people at this concert, she decides to bring a book and read, right? Oh, and it's a One Direction concert. I think for K-pop fans, it's also BTS. Then when she looks up from her book, she realizes that one of the singers is staring at her. We locked eyes and he smiled at me. I would have guessed that he was looking around and smiling to be smiling, but whatever. Oh, bonus point if it's Harry Styles who smiles at her because, you know, it's 2014 Wattpad. Then after the concert, a security guard comes to her and says that the entire band wants to meet her. And when she goes to meet them, I guess that her eyes were so blue and the fact that she brought a book to a concert was so fantastic that they just ask her to go on tour with them. And she agrees and goes! Just forgets about school, friends, family, and her life. Just gets on a plane and forgets it all. And she's always like 16. That's how I know YN can't be me, because my mom would have beat the brakes off of my ass. Bye.